chilly autumn breeze whispered through the trees, carrying with it an ominous sense of evil. As darkness fell over the small Welsh town, a pink bicycle lay abandoned on the sidewalk, its owner nowhere to be seen. Little did anyone know that this innocent scene would soon become the epicenter of a heart-wrenching mystery that would captivate the entire nation. In the quiet community, where neighbors knew each other by name and children played freely in the streets, an unthinkable event was about to unfold. A family's worst nightmare was just beginning, and a child's laughter would be silenced forever. As the clock struck 7:15 p.m. on that fateful evening, a young girl was enjoying a playdate with her friends in a local housing estate. The air was filled with the sounds of children's giggles and the occasional squeal of delight. But in a matter of minutes, those joyful sounds would be replaced by the frantic calls of a mother searching for her daughter.
It's been 36 hours since April was taken from us. There must be someone out there who knows where she is and can help the police find her. We are desperate for any news. April is only 5 years old. Please, please, help find her.
In relation to this specific investigation, as I said earlier, we're pursuing a number of lines of inquiry.
The beautiful town of Machynlleth, nestled in the heart of Wales, was the backdrop for this haunting tale. Known for its stunning landscapes and tight-knit community, Machynlleth had always been a place where children could roam freely, their laughter echoing through the streets without a hint of danger. But on October 1, 2012, this idyllic image was destroyed forever. It was here that the story of April Jones came to life. April, a promising 5-year-old with a contagious smile, had been enjoying a typical day. She had gone for her regular swimming lessons at the local leisure center, splashing and giggling with her friends in the pool. Afterwards, her parents had attended a school event, a normal part of family life that would soon be overshadowed by the unthinkable. As evening approached, April begged her parents to let her play outside with a friend. Despite the late hour, they reluctantly agreed, unknowing that this decision would change their lives forever. April hopped on her beloved pink bicycle, her excitement palpable as she pedaled off to meet her playmate. The Brynigod housing estate, where April lived, was usually full of activity with children playing and neighbors chatting. On this particular evening, however, an unseen threat lurked in the shadows. As April played with her 7-year-old friend, neither of them could have imagined the danger that was about to unfold. At 7:15 p.m., April was last seen by her friend, seemingly climbing into a gray van. This innocent act, perhaps viewed as a harmless interaction by a trusting child, would be the last time April was seen alive. The gray van, once an unremarkable vehicle, would soon become the focus of a nationwide manhunt. As the minutes ticked by, April's mother, Coral, grew increasingly worried. The streets of Machynlleth, usually so safe and familiar, suddenly seemed ominous and threatening. At 7:29 p.m., just 29 minutes after April had left home, Coral made the frantic call to the police that would set in motion one of the largest missing persons searches in UK history. April Sue Lynn Jones entered the world on April 4, 2007, a spring day filled with hope and promise. Her parents, Coral and Paul Jones, were overjoyed to welcome their little girl into their lives. From the very beginning, April faced challenges with remarkable strength. She was diagnosed with mild cerebral palsy, but this never dampened her spirit or zest for life. Despite her physical challenges, April grew into a cheerful and determined child. Her infectious smile and kind heart made her a favorite among her classmates and teachers. April's love for the color pink was well known. Her bicycle, her favorite toys, and even her glasses all sported her preferred hue. The Jones family, including April's older siblings, lived in the close-knit community of Machynlleth. Their home in the Brynigod estate was a place filled with laughter and love. April's father, Paul, worked hard to provide for his family, while Coral dedicated herself to caring for their children. As news of April's disappearance spread, the community of Machinlith sprang into action. Within hours, hundreds of volunteers had joined the search, combing through fields, forests, and streams in hopes of finding the little girl. The local leisure center, where April had enjoyed her swim just hours earlier, became the hub of the search operations. The Dyfed Powys Police, led by Detective Superintendent Reg Bevan, quickly escalated the case to a critical incident. They understood that time was of the essence in finding April. As dawn broke on October 2, the search had grown to include specialized equipment and teams from across the UK. People from all walks of life put their daily routines on hold to help find April. Local businesses provided food and supplies for the searchers, while hotels offered free accommodation to visiting police officers and volunteers. Reporters from national and international news outlets filled the streets, their presence a constant reminder of the gravity of the situation. The once quiet town was now at the center of a story that had captured the nation's attention. Despite the chaos, the people of Machinlith remained united in their determination to bring April home. Pink ribbons, a nod to April's favorite color, began appearing throughout the town, symbols of hope and solidarity in the face of unimaginable circumstances. The rugged Welsh landscape posed significant challenges, but neither harsh weather nor difficult terrain could stop the searchers. Every hill, stream, and cave was meticulously examined for any sign of the missing girl. On October 3rd, Coral Jones made a heart-wrenching public appeal for information about her daughter. Her voice trembling with emotion, she pleaded, "We are desperate for any news. April is our beautiful little girl. Please help us find her." The raw pain in her words touched hearts across the nation, spurring even more people to join the search efforts. The following day, then Prime Minister David Cameron added his voice to the appeals. In an eloquent statement, he said, "My heart goes out to April's family. This is every family's nightmare. The whole country will be thinking of them and praying for April." His words reflected the national sentiment as people from all corners of the UK held vigils and fundraisers in support of the search. As the investigation progressed, a breakthrough came on the afternoon of October 2nd. Mark Bridger, a 46-year-old local man, was taken into custody. His arrest sent shockwaves through the community. Bridger, known to many in the small town, had been seen driving a vehicle matching the description of the one April was last seen entering. The focus of the investigation shifted as detectives began piecing together Bridger's movements on the night of April's disappearance. His left-hand drive Land Rover Discovery became a crucial piece of evidence, thoroughly examined by forensic experts. Despite Bridger's arrest, the search for April continued unabated. The community refused to give up hope, clinging to the possibility that the little girl might still be found alive. Pink ribbons multiplied across town, their fluttering presence a constant reminder of the precious child they were all searching for. The case took an alarming turn on October 5th when the police officially declared it a slaying inquiry. This announcement, while expected by some, was a devastating blow to those who had been holding on to hope. The realization that April might no longer be with them was almost too much to bear for her family and the community that had come to love her. As the investigation deepened, unsettling details about Mark Bridger's past began to surface. Born in Surrey in 1965, Bridger had moved to Wales in the 1980s, seeking a fresh start. However, his life was marked by a series of troubling incidents and minor offenses that painted a concerning picture. Bridger's work history was as varied as it was unstable. He had taken on numerous jobs over the years, including roles as an abattoir worker, hotel porter, and even a brief stint as a firefighter. Despite these attempts at steady employment, he struggled to maintain long-term stability. Perhaps most troubling was Bridger's personal life. He had fathered 6 children with 4 different women, leaving a trail of broken relationships in his wake. His only marriage, which began in 1990, ended in divorce several years later, adding another layer of complexity to his already tumultuous life. As investigators delved into Bridger's background, they uncovered a pattern of concerning behavior. His criminal record, while not extensive, included convictions for assault, battery, and threatening behavior. These revelations sent shockwaves through the community, leaving many to wonder how such an individual could have lived among them undetected. On October 6th, just 5 days after April's disappearance, Bridger was formally charged. The charges were grave: physically harming, attempting to hinder the course of justice, and unlawful concealment. The community, already reeling from April's disappearance, now had to grapple with the possibility that one of their own was responsible for this unthinkable act. Bridger's first court appearance on October 8th was a somber affair. The once quiet town of McKinley found itself thrust into the national spotlight as media from across the country descended upon the local courthouse. Inside, Bridger spoke only to confirm his name and address, his demeanor a stark contrast to the chaotic scene outside. On December 12th, the police made a solemn announcement: the search would continue into 2013. This news, while disheartening, also sparked a renewed sense of hope among the community. The new year brought little respite for April's family or the town of McKinley. The pink ribbons, now weathered by winter storms, still fluttered throughout the town, a poignant reminder of their ongoing quest. The case had become more than just a search for a missing child. It had become a symbol of a community's unwavering spirit in the face of tragedy. On January 14, 2013, Mark Bridger appeared at Mold Crown Court. In a surprising turn of events, he stated that he was probably responsible for April's passing, but pleaded not guilty to the charge of harming her. This partial admission sent shockwaves through the courtroom and reignited public interest in the case. The trial began on April 29, 2013, before Mr. Justice Griffith Williams. The courthouse was packed with journalists, legal observers, and members of the public, all eager to hear the evidence against Bridger. Outside, pink ribbons adorned the building, a silent tribute to the little girl at the heart of this tragic case. During the trial, disturbing evidence came to light. Forensic experts testified that fragments of human bone, consistent with a young individual, had been found in the fireplace of Bridger's cottage. This grim discovery, coupled with traces of April's DNA found in several parts of the house, showed how horrifying her final moments were. Bridger's defense was built on claims of an accidental collision and memory loss due to alcohol consumption. He maintained that he had accidentally run over April with his car and, in a state of panic, could not remember what he had done afterwards. However, the prosecution argued that the evidence pointed to a much more sinister sequence of events. On May 30th, 2013, after careful deliberation, the jury reached their verdict. Mark Bridger was found responsible for April's disappearance and for attempting to hinder the course of justice. The courtroom fell silent as the judge prepared to deliver the sentence. In a scathing address, the judge called Bridger a pathological and glib liar and stated that his actions were driven by indecent motivations. The sentence was then pronounced. Bridger would spend the rest of his natural life behind bars with no possibility of release. The verdict brought a mix of emotions to April's family and the community of McKinley. While there was a sense of relief that justice had been served, the absence of April's physical remains left a painful void. The town had hoped for closure, but instead found themselves grappling with an unresolved grief. In the aftermath of the trial, a surprising revelation came to light. Bridger had reportedly confessed to a prison chaplain that he had placed April's body in the fast-flowing Afon Dulas, a river that runs past his house. However, the police expressed doubt about this claim, believing instead that Bridger had scattered April's remains across the countryside near his home. The search for April's remains continued, driven by the hope of bringing her home one last time. On March 27, 2013, the police announced that they would call off the search after another month if no new evidence was found. It was a difficult decision, but one made with the understanding that they had exhausted all possible avenues. On April 22, 2013, nearly 7 months after April's disappearance, the official search came to an end. It had been the largest missing persons search in UK police history, involving countless hours of manpower and resources. Though April's body was never found, the impact of her story had touched hearts across the nation. In September 2013, April's family held a funeral service for their beloved daughter. Despite the absence of a body, they felt it was important to have a place to remember April and to allow the community to say goodbye. The service was a poignant mixture of sorrow and celebration of April's short but vibrant life. The case of April Jones led to significant changes beyond McKinley. Her parents campaigned tirelessly for stricter controls on internet searches related to inappropriate content involving minors. In November 2013, major search engines implemented new measures to block such results, a small victory in April's memory. In August 2014, the Welsh government made the decision to purchase the cottage in Symes, where April is believed to have spent her final moments. The property, which had stood empty since Pridger's arrest, was bought for £149,000. The community held its breath as plans for the cottage were discussed. Many felt that its presence was a painful reminder of the tragedy that had befallen their town. In November 2014, a decision was reached. The cottage would be demolished. On the day of the demolition, April's family gathered to watch. It was a bittersweet moment, filled with complex emotions. As the walls came down, there was a sense of a chapter closing, but the pain of their loss remained ever present. The pink ribbons that had become synonymous with April's case gradually began to fade, but the memory of the little girl with the bright smile lived on. The community of McKinley, forever changed by the events of that October night, found ways to honor April's memory. A memorial garden was created in the town, a peaceful space where people could go to reflect and remember. The garden, filled with April's favorite pink flowers, became a symbol of hope and resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy. In a touching tribute, April's school dedicated a reading corner in her name, filled with books about bravery, kindness, and hope, all themes that April embodied. It became a favorite spot for students to enjoy quiet moments with stories. As time passed, the anniversary of April's disappearance became a day of community service in McKinley. Residents would come together to clean up local parks, plant flowers, and engage in acts of kindness, turning a day of sorrow into one of positive action. The Jones family, despite their unimaginable loss, found strength in supporting other families of missing children. They became a signal of resilience, offering comfort and understanding to those facing similar hardship. While the pain of April's loss never fully faded, her story continued to inspire positive change. From improved child safety measures to stronger community bonds, April's brief life left an indelible mark on society, reminding us all of the preciousness of every child and the importance of protecting the most vulnerable among us.